Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Hi guys, I'm JT.
Hey guys, I'm the leader of this show, Joey.
Assert dominance. And we are talking about the number one warm-up routine for white belts.
Oh.
Yeah. You found Jiu-Jitsu, you come to class early, you're really keen, but you don't know what to do.
And I make it very clear, there's a lot of people in this world, different races, different cultures, different backgrounds. White belts, you are a culture and a race
Of your own.
You're
Correct.
an alien life form. I don't know what it's like to be you. I was never you.
Even when Joey was a white belt, he wasn't really a white belt.
we were never you.
Yeah. But it's okay. We've all had that experience where we come to something and we don't know what to do. Like we feel weird.
And you walk into the gym and you're new to the whole scene.
Yeah.
So the reason we're saying, hey, white belts is because you're at your most awkward.
Of
You're
course.
like, fuck, where do I stand? Like
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, you just don't really know anyone that well yet. So we're trying to just give you a couple things, because here's the deal. If you can just get to a piece of mat space and go, all right, I'm just going to follow these things that the guys told me to do. And you can practice that. Then over time, you're going to become more confident with it. But also, you're going to be preparing yourself for training in the best way possible from day one.
Yeah.
It's not going to take getting to purple belt, getting injured a bunch of times before you realize, oh, I should actually do a warm-up.
Yeah. And also know that the coach is going to run whatever warm-up they run. And that's not necessarily what you might need to do.
Yeah, it's probably going to be shit, just to be clear.
Well, we'll see. We don't know who your coach is. But yeah, generally BJJ warm-ups are not fantastic depending on. And even if you've got a great coach and they run a good warm-up, you should have your own routine.
Just quickly, why are they not fantastic?
Part of the reason is it's much of the same. So typically the general thesis behind what people are doing is elevate your body temperature and do jiu-jitsu-esque movements. But if you have been sitting down all day, whether you're in your car, you're in the office, whatever, you've been working all day, whatever your job is, your body will be stiff and tight in certain ways. Jiu-jitsu warm-ups do not typically solve the problem which you have, which is your shoulders being forward, your hip flexors being tight. If anything, sometimes jiu-jitsu warm-ups can make it worse. The upside on a jiu-jitsu warm-up is you get warm, you get adrenaline, so you're like, oh, okay, I can move now. But that's not because those drills helped you. What we are going to do today, guys, is give you the 5 moves that really, as someone who's never done jiu-jitsu, this is a good place to start.
And what makes up these moves? We were just talking about these before. There's many moves, right? But like, how can we package this up? 5 that are really good, that are going to cover the majority of bases, that are going to put you in the best position to be prepped for training without taking up heaps of time.
Yeah.
What's the break? Not the drills themselves, but what's the structure we went with?
So we were looking at something that's going to help us loosen up the upper body and just in an active way. So it's a warm-up, guys. It's before class. Looking at the upper body as well as, upper back, hips. We're working our way down to the torso. The hips are so important. Like if the hips aren't moving well, it's going to suck at jiu-jitsu. And then people often say, oh, my back hurts or my back's tight, when actually that is really a symptom of hips not moving well. But then also, it doesn't matter if you're playing guard or you're passing, we've got to be able to do a squat. We've got to be able to get down into a deep squat. If you can't, right now, if you're hearing this and you think, can I do an ass to grass squat? Can I sit my butt down to my heels? If you can't squat below 90 degrees, you're not going to have a good guard and you're not going to be able to pass guard very well either.
Pull the car over, highway, doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Get out,
matter.
test
whatever.
the squat right now.
Hey,
see how it feels.
in the car.
Yeah.
Just in the car.
Yeah,
Like
put your feet up on the steering wheel.
Oh, yeah, can you?
Knees to chest.
That's it.
And then straighten your back,
Straighten
so
your
pressing
back.
your head into the headrest.
Can you do that? Yeah. And also drive. That's next level. See how you go. Results may vary. And then also ankles and knees, because these are injury sites. And so more recently, Joe and I had been talking about the value of a particular drill for protecting knees. And we will mention that at the end. So we're going top to bottom, guys. We're going top to bottom. And we're going to start.
Got some glute activation too, right? In there.
We do.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's hit them.
All right. So first step, number 1, tabletop press.
Tabletop press for the shoulders.
Open up the shoulders, open up the elbows and the wrists.
Biceps, wrists.
Biceps, it really
Gets the shoulder blades moving.
gets you moving back, and then also lifting hips up too.
Yep. So it's a bit, yes, it's kind of active. You're getting a bit of glute work.
Yeah, and
Opening the hip flexors a bit.
it is the opposite of what you spend your day doing.
Yep.
So in terms of getting you started and moving your body well, that is something you don't find in a jiu-jitsu warm-up, but you should do it just to get you started.
Yep. Now, just a tip. We're gonna. These will all be accompanied with a YouTube video. So if you're like, I haven't seen these drills.
What the hell's that?
Yeah, we'll put on a YouTube video so you can go check that out. While we're talking about that, go and check our YouTube channel out. We've got a bunch of shit on there.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like it, do all of that because we're putting content out. We'd love you to follow us and you can see.
Watch every single video on replay so we can get our watch hours
And
up.
yesterday we filmed our live rolls. I beat the shit out of JT. It's all there for you guys to see. It's a fucking obliteration, guys.
Tune in.
Quite frankly.
Tune in and watch the violence to the lo-fi chill hip-hop.
You might have seen me doing some elbow rehab today. That was nothing to do with yesterday's rolls with JT. Off next drill, please.
Continue. Side hip raise.
Side hip raise.
Like if you guys imagine being lateral side plank and lifting that hip up. Great for the hip, also great for the oblique and shoulder.
And the glute.
And the glute.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That medial glute piece, very good. So the side hip raise is probably underrated, and there's a similar movement in the McGill Big Three. If you don't know what that is, don't worry too much. But it will protect your lower back as much as it's going to get your hips fired up.
Yep.
Number 3, which is dead set favorite of ours because it ticks so many boxes, is the Cossack squat.
Cossack squat. And here's the deal. It's a lateral squat. So you're getting your squat mechanics warmed up, like single leg type squatting work, while also stretching the inside aspect of the opposite hip.
That's right.
Which is, this lateral movement is so important for jiu-jitsu,
Yes.
right? But the thing with the Cossack squat is you don't have to do it to the degree, say, that you might see us do it, where it's like super deep.
Don't have to go all the way.
You know, like it's fucking beautiful, quite frankly. No, but it's really just about getting the stretch. So if you're really tight and you're like, man, my Cossack squat looks like shit, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're still working towards your perimeter.
Yeah.
And that is what's helping open you up for jiu-jitsu.
And you can build into that too. So don't feel like, oh, I can only go to 90 degrees. I suck. No, that's fine because the more you do that, you're going to gain. You're going to get that little bit lower, little bit lower. And it actually improves really quickly. So the more you do it, the better it's getting. Cossack squat is what you need. Now, number 4, which this is like an interesting one because this is like, it's a mobility and an activation in the same breath. Active pigeon. Active pigeon is great. And because people out there, if you've got tight hips, whether it be your ass, your glutes, or even your hip flexors, you're essentially, if you're not familiar with the pigeon stretch, it is a glute stretch. They do it a bunch in yoga. But what we've done is
They don't do it like we do it.
Nah, not half as good. Suckers. You are bringing your foot, the blade of your foot, to the middle between your hands. You're in a push-up position and you're actively drawing the outside of your knee.
You're in a lunge position first.
Yeah.
You got one leg forward, yep.
Hands down, one hand either side of your foot, and moving your knee to the outside. We want to think that the outside of your knee is moving down towards the ground, and you should feel a dramatic stretch through your glutes. But funnily enough, when I do this, and typically with my white belt crew, they feel their hip flexors on the other side.
Yeah, there's a
Because
nice active stretch going on there.
Yeah, you're active. Now, if you really struggle with this, you can put your back knee, your straight leg knee on the ground.
Yep.
But ideally, you're actually active. You've got that toe on the ground, that knee is off the ground, and it should be all going into that, the bent leg side, the glute on that side.
We love this drill. That's in through all of our programs, mobility programs, standards. It's always there and we use it every day. It's just, it's great.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're trying to give you bang for your buck because we know you don't have much time.
Yeah.
Like you'd be lucky if you've even got 10 minutes. So even just, banging out, 6 to 8 reps on each side, one set, even though we'd like you to do more, that is really good to prepare you.
Yeah.
Moving on, this is the new addition.
The last drill.
The last drill. And I'm going to let Joe speak about this.
Well, I got 45 seconds because we're capping this at 10 minutes.
Oh, go.
But we're talking about hopping. And hopping work, very simply put, we're talking about hopping on one leg. So you can hop forward, you can hop back, and you can just go in a straight line, or you can start to do a little zigzag piece, or you can even go backwards in a straight line or backwards zigzag. Really, it's the nature of hopping that's important. And I learned this from a friend of ours, Justin Lang.
Shout out.
Who helped me with my knee rehab after my ACL surgery. And he said that hopping in the warm-up is the number one drill that athletes can use to protect their knees when they go onto the field.
Nice.
He said it doesn't matter how strong you are, it's this proprioceptive ability that keeps your knees protected.
Right.
Whether it's ball sports or combat or whatever. So it's like a few sets of hopping in the warm-up, or at least one, goes a really long way. The other reason we like it is that for a lot of jiu-jitsu folks, athleticism is not necessarily included for you. No one says that you're an athlete necessarily. You might be coming in a bit flat-footed, been to the office all day, not really having an athletic background. Bringing in a drill like hopping into the warm-up starts to switch you on to this kind of active...
Engage.
Yeah, you're like getting bouncy. And that is really, like if we're looking to be fast on the feet and be athletic, this is really a huge part of that.
Definitely.
So we're starting to get you into that mindset and get your nervous system ready for that before you step into training.
Definitely. And also, guys, if you haven't done much hopping before, it also gets your hip fired up. As much as your ankle, your knee, it's your hip too. And, really what we're trying to do here is make sure as soon as the class starts, you are ready to go. You're not, as much as you will do the class warm up, we want you ready when it starts. So it doesn't matter what comes your way, you are as best prepared as you can be.
Absolutely.
And we want to get you in the habit of this from the beginning of your jiu-jitsu journey as a white belt.
Guys, thank you. Hope that helps. Check out the YouTube channel for the video accompaniment to this episode. And if you want help with your training, bulletproof for BJJ.com. Use the code BJJ podcast for 20% off. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.